she's a mountain, then you're an ocean.
Hi, everybody. This is Lori, and I am the founder and CEO of a company called Inclusivi-TEA and the author of a new book, You Can Save the World. In fact, you're the only one who can. And this is our podcast, and our podcast is Inclusivi-Talks Sustainability. And our mission with the podcast and the company and the book is talking about sustainable living and creativity. And on the podcast, we interview a lot of really interesting people who are leading lives helping others in a variety of ways, and lives of creativity and lives that are making the world a better place for all of us. So today is our second episode with Alison McWhinnie. And Alison works at the Harry Edwards Healing Center in England. And Alison, thank you for sticking around for a second episode.
You're most welcome. I'm loving being here.
Well, it is absolutely our pleasure. If you haven't listened to the first episode, please go back and listen to it, because you'll hear all about Alison's childhood, sort of how she got to where she is working at a healing sanctuary, which sounds like just a peaceful, lovely place to work. And so you're going to want to go back and listen to that, because we just learned a lot about Alison. So Alison, in this episode, I'd really like to talk a little bit more about your life philosophy and sort of the things that move you forward, the things that inspire you.
So my life philosophy is that I'm not a human with a spirit. I'm more a spirit living a human existence. And my personal belief is that I'm here to learn, and my time here will give me plenty of learning opportunities, and I'm also here to serve as well. I'm very spiritual. I pray twice a day and meditate twice a day at the start and end of the day. And I am a very strong believer in God and higher powers that are here to help us, and that there is a spiritual dimension as well, that we don't necessarily fully understand, but it is there, and it is there to help you if you ask. And it is all about, doing good for those around you and serving those around you where you can.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds, sorry.
Now, do I get it wrong sometimes? Absolutely. I'm only human after all. I'm not pitch perfect by any means. Please do not think that. But that is the philosophy that I try to stick by. That is the underlying core, really.
Well, and it sounds like your philosophy allows for people to have different understandings of what that means exactly.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that there's an
And I think it's important to respect other people's views. So I'm not here to preach to anybody. I'm just explaining my personal belief.
So what would you say drives you?
I am very driven, actually. I love success, and I love the feeling of achieving things. I love seeing gaps in life and filling that gap with a new project that I feel will be helpful to people. And I love seeing that project be successful. I like to feel that I've made a difference in a positive way. I absolutely love work, and when I'm working for an employer, I want to see that organisation really succeed and really do well. So I'm very driven to help them achieve that to the best of my ability.
Yeah, I can, just from talking to you for this short period, I can tell that you always do your best, the best you can at that moment. So
absolutely.
If you were giving advice to someone younger who was coming up, and sort of in any way, whether it's advice about, looking to healing, or if it's advice just about life and living, what would you say?
I think there are essentially three things. First of all, I would say spend time and make precious memories with those you love, because you never know what's around the corner. And it's important that while they're with you on this earth, that you do see them and you do spend time with people you love, and that they know that you love them. That is really important. I think also if something doesn't go well, I think sometimes from childhood, the meaning of failure that is given is wrong. And if something doesn't go well, I think it's important to look for the learning opportunity within that situation that hasn't gone so well. And does it actually contain a nugget of really golden advice that if you followed that, you could actually make something even better? Sometimes it presents a platform to something even better than your original idea, and to keep working to fine-tune your craft. I think it's important to visualize your future in your mind, no matter what is going on around you, and to keep working towards that vision that you have for yourself. And I think finally there is a piece that really resonates with me, and I don't know if you know it, called Desiderata. I'll read it to you. It just really resonates to me. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons, for they are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness beyond a wholesome discipline. Be gentle with yourself. For you are a child of the universe. No less than the trees and the stars, you have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labours and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy.
Beautiful. What did you call that?
Desiderata.
If you email
It
me,
just really resonates with me when I read it for the first time. It just encompasses so much.
if you email me the name of it, I will include it as a link here so that people can look it up if they want to read it again. That's very lovely. So our podcast really is about creativity. And in our last podcast, we talked quite a bit about creativity as it relates to sort of your whole view of the world and how you approach every challenge. I'd like to know a little bit more about what you feel your role in creating a sustainable future is. And as I just want to restate that for us, sustainability is encompassing everything that is for the good, basically. So it's economic, environmental, and social justice. And so it's taking care of each other and the world. So how do you see your role in that creation of a sustainable future?
I think that one of the lessons of 2020 was that it was very much a reset for the world. And as we all went into lockdown and had our lives severely restricted because of that, a lot of beautiful things unfolded. Suddenly the air became fresher because not so many cars were being used. You could hear birdsong more clearly. In the UK, we found animals coming into town centres that you would not normally expect to see, because there are not so many humans around. Here at the sanctuary, although we're in 30 acres of our own ground, we have attracted wild deer who roam our grounds, and that did not happen before 2020. And they're absolutely beautiful to watch, and they really enjoy eating our hedges. So have joined our volunteer gardening team to keep the hedges trimmed, but they're just beautiful to watch. I think sustainability, the state of our planet is incredibly important, and we're already seeing throughout the world significant changes in climate, between, heat waves and fires and flooding. Those are huge warning signs. If all of us took a small action to do something to help the planet, to help the environment, then we can all make a change for this planet. In England, we have a bee shortage, and bees are absolutely crucial for our future. So, for example, at the sanctuary this summer, we have started keeping our own bees.
Oh, lovely.
And we had beehives arrive last month, and we've got our own beekeeper. I'm not the beekeeper, I don't know enough about bees, but we have our own beekeeper, and the plan is to make our own honey as well. So I think there's an awful lot that everybody can do for the planet, just thinking about your day-to-day life, and is there anything you can cut out that is harming the planet? Because if we collectively cut things out, it's amazing the difference it can make. And we saw that when we all had to stay in and not drive about so much, and the impact it had on wildlife around us. And I think that it's important to realise that this is their planet as well. It's not just about us, it's the animals as well. And we have a guardianship role for the animal kingdom. And we've got to make sure they're okay. From a human perspective, and looking at my role at the sanctuary, obviously it is about the care of people who come to us for healing. And there's a fantastic team. It's not just about me. There's a fantastic team here at the sanctuary who really do care about helping people going through a difficult time. But one of the things that we are going to be launching, talking about creativity, in September, is a fully shaped bereavement support programme. In my eyes, it's something that is missing currently at the sanctuary, so that is an area I want to fill. And obviously people do pass, and so it's important that we're there for the family and friends affected by that bereavement. But also, after all that we've gone through with 2020 and COVID, I think there's an absolute tsunami of grief about to come out. And the reason I think that is not just the numbers of people who've passed over, but the way COVID has affected how people are ill and how they pass over, with families not being able to spend time sitting by their bedside, with funerals severely affected in terms of the numbers that you can have at funerals. So the whole mourning process has been affected by that, and its normal pathway has been affected. So here at the sanctuary, we are going to be launching a bereavement programme. And I've got a team of lovely ladies helping me with that. And we're going to do a mixture of things. So we've got one lady who is leading a group called Compassionate Friends. And this is a group for parents who have lost children. And she is also doing candlelight services for us in November to remember those who've passed. And we're also going to have a bereavement retreat here at the sanctuary in the spring. And we feel that by allowing people to come to the sanctuary, stay over, enjoy the 30 acres of countryside, that could be part of their healing journey to go through the bereavement process and come out the other end. We already have a lady who is delivering bereavement counselling by phone. And we're about to launch Grief and a Cuppa in September, which will be both on site at the sanctuary for those who are able to attend, and we'll also be doing Zoom events as well for those who live too far away. So we're very much looking to support people at this time who've unfortunately had to go through that journey. Another thing that we have done that we actually started in March 2020 was a Harry Edwards chat line. And this was for people who found themselves at home alone, might be elderly, might be ill, with nobody to talk to. And we know that the social isolation brought about by COVID has had significant impact on mental health. So this was a free service where people could book an appointment to speak to one of our healers. They didn't need to have a healing session. It was all about them and what they wanted to talk about. So if they wanted to talk about the shopping or the weather, then that is what we would talk about. It was all about giving them a connection with another human being at a time when they felt very isolated. Another area that I'm on the verge of looking at as well is carer support. And I haven't got that programme fully shaped yet, so I can't say an awful lot about it. But having been a carer myself, I know the pressures on people when they're going through that journey, and I want to look at ways how we can support carers better.
Nice. That's amazing. So if somebody wants to connect with the Harry Edward Healing Center, is that through your website?
Yes, it's through our website, Harry Edwards Healing Centre. And also, if they want to email me directly with a question, if a colleague is dealing with it, I can pass them on to that colleague. So I'm very happy for people to contact me directly as well.
And are many of your services free?
Yes. So we are quite passionate here about offering our healing services really on a donation basis if any finance is involved. Quite a time ago, it used to be chargeable. And our current board, and actually myself as well, felt that that wasn't the right way to go. My personal thinking is that when people come to us for healing, they could be at a really bad place, very low. They could have something very seriously wrong with them, and that could mean that they're not able to work, and that therefore they don't have a salary coming in. Alternatively, they could be an elderly person with multiple conditions, living on a pension, and again, not flush with money. Our purpose is to help people just like that, and I really would not want a financial barrier to be put up to people who really need our help. Mm-hmm. So we very gladly accept donations, and every little bit helps. We also have an online shop, and we ask people to buy from us through that because that has a margin and the profit goes back to the charity. We ask people to do things like sign up to these shopping online where you can donate part of the profits to a charity of your choice. And we are also a venue, so people who book our venue will be contributing to the charity. And personally, I would far rather we drive income through those channels than from people who really need our help.
That's beautiful. And I will say from personal experience, I won't go into any details, but I did. The reason that I met Alison is that I reached out because I had a friend who was ill and just wanted some additional thoughts and prayers and healing energy going towards her. And so I reached out, and the response from your team was immediate, very rapid response after I reached out, and sort of without questions asked, just said, yes, give us, tell us her name and what she needs, and here you are. We will definitely do that. Yeah. And my friend is doing better, and I appreciated so much just knowing that someone else in the world was also sending healing. And again, whether it's prayers or healing energy, however you define it, that someone else was sending that meant a lot to me. Yeah. So I want to thank you, and I want to say to anybody who's listening, it is a very quick response, very respectful, and no expectations were placed on me really at all. And so there wasn't if you think it's too good to be true, it's actually not too good to be true. This is really just who you are as a community.
Yeah.
So
we're very fortunate to have an excellent team here. As I say, it's not just me, it is a team, and they're a very committed team who genuinely care.
Yeah, that's incredible. So anybody who's listening, absolutely reach out. You can find out more. We'll make sure the link to the website is posted with this audio and or with the video and the audio. So Allison, the other thing I just wanted to ask you is, well, two things. First, is there anything we haven't talked about that you would like to talk about?
I think we've pretty much covered it. I think all that I would say is if anybody has any doubts about healing, I'm very happy to answer their questions or address any concerns, and provide explanations and further information. I'm very open to that.
Excellent. And then the last thing I always ask people is to just tell us a story from their lives. And you've told several already, which have been amazing. I always preface this particular question with, this doesn't have to be a story that has a lesson. It can be. It doesn't have to be a spiritual story. It can be. But it really just has to be a story that when you think about yourself, it's a story that's yours. Something that feels like it's from your life, that it feels like it's yours.
The story I'm going to tell you makes my friends laugh whenever they remember it. And it goes back about 20 years. I just moved into a new flat and I was having friends round for a dinner party. It was October, so the nights were getting dark quite early. And in my flat, my kitchen and my dining room were at the front of the flat. And at the back of the flat, I had a very large sitting room that had a balcony door and the master bedroom. And the balcony stretched along the sitting room and the bedroom. And I was working pro bono with the Met Police. And I'd had this dinner party booked for ages on a Saturday evening. And then the Friday, the police came round and said, we would like to use your flat for an observation, undercover observation tomorrow evening.
Wow.
We would like to position ourselves on your balcony because we feel there's serious crime going on in the garages just over there, and we've got a perfect view of them from your balcony. And I said, well, I've got a dinner party tomorrow evening. And they said, you won't know we're there. Famous last words. I'm thinking, I can multitask. What can possibly go wrong in this scenario? So I agreed to it, and the police arrived before my guests. I was told not to tell anybody about the operation, which I didn't. Police arrived before my guests and positioned themselves on my balcony before any of my guests arrived. My guests arrived. I had 10 people for this dinner party, and none of them knew there were 2 police officers on the balcony. And so we started off with drinks in the sitting room at the back. Then I moved them to the dining room at the front, served them all their 3-course dinner. And after I'd served them, at each serving, I trotted out to the balcony and gave the police officers a bowl of food, trotted back, then joined the people at my dinner table. And it went into sort of the early hours of the morning, 1, 2 in the morning. Nothing had happened. I thought, oh, it's going to be one of those things where nothing's happened. It'll be fine. Let's move back to the more comfortable sitting room at the back. We'll have some candles, soft music, coffees, teas, and just finish the evening off in a very relaxed place and chatting. So we moved to the sitting room, and it all kicked off. And the police saw the activity happening, and the 2 officers threw open my sitting room door from the balcony, ran across the sitting room on their radio, shouting shoulder numbers and go, 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 and out the front door. And I wish I'd had a camera for the look on the faces of my guests. And they all looked at them and then looked at me. And I thought, do you know what? I don't have to tell anyone why I've got 2 men on my balcony. So I just looked at them and I said, more coffee, anyone? And got up into the kitchen. And I did eventually tell them what had been happening. And I don't live in that flat any longer, but when people came round after that, they always went to the balcony to see if I had anybody out there. And it was on a many occasions. And they caught the guys as well. So it was a very successful operation.
Well, how fun for you. I mean, what an exciting ending to your evening. I bet nobody slept after that.
Had a very good laugh.
Well, that is a wonderful story. So my last question that I hadn't asked earlier, and we touched on a little bit, but I just wanted to confirm that you actually offer services for people around the world. That
Yes,
although
we
you're
do.
you're
And we're
located
very,
in England, so obviously if someone wants
yes,
to come to the sanctuary, they have to come to England, but otherwise you welcome everyone.
we welcome everyone. So even in England, we welcome people who don't live near us. And we can still deliver healing to anybody anywhere in the world. So people can write into us by email or letter, but also we can do healing by Zoom or Skype. And we are very keen to reach out across the world, and we're very keen to develop relationships with other healing organizations, which we are doing, so that we get that worldwide healing phenomena going, so that we can help as many people as possible.
I love that. Alison, thank you so much for being here. You have been just a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I've really enjoyed it.
I thank you so much for everything you're doing, and I think it is very clear that the world is a better place because you are here. So I just thank you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Thank you.
All right, everybody, this has been Inclusive Talks Sustainability, and our guest today has been Alison McWhinnie, who is with the Harry Edwards Healing Center in England. And again, thank you so much, Alison, and everybody who's listening. Please check them out. And if you are in need of healing or you know someone who is, please reach out to Alison. Thank you.
If she's a mountain